American Metal Reviews.
The Last of Us Left Behind DLC just came out on Valentine's Day. How wonderful. We just finished it and we're here to review it. We reviewed The Last of Us, so go check that out too. And if you haven't played The Last of Us, don't watch this. Just find a different video to watch because we're going to spoil a lot of shit. So yeah, this basically takes place in kind of a mall. It takes place between in like a flashback, but in the actual main storyline of The Last of Us, it takes place after Joel. You know, they're at searching for the Fireflies in the hospital, and Joel falls
college.
Yeah, the college, and they get fucked up, and Joel falls, gets Lara Crofted on the pipe, and you know, Ellie has to take care of him, and it takes place pretty much between there and, you know, right after that segment. In the main game, it skips right to the snowy winter, and, you know, Ellie meets David and all that stuff. So it kind of takes place in between there, but it's also a flashback between Ellie and her friend Riley, and those parts take place before the actual main game. So they're kind of taking they pretty much take place in the same area, which is this mall, pretty much. And I guess they're just flashbacks in Ellie's mind. And yeah, it's a very short DLC. Kind of. I think it took us 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get through. Excuse me. So in length, it's very good, but I think in production, in storytelling, it makes up for everything. You know, I thought it was originally a little bit pricey. Once I heard the length, how long it actually is, it's $15. So I thought that's a little pricey, but it turns out it's great. So, Sam, what'd you think of? Well, before we get into the story, because that's probably what we'll talk about the most. I guess we can both agree that the gameplay is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
The segments where you are the whole time you play as Ellie, you don't play as Joel at all.
Or Riley. Or anyone else. Yeah.
So the whole time when you're with Riley, there's no combat, and there's a lot of character stuff, which we'll get to that. There's no combat going on there, but the other parts where you're basically trying to find medicine for Joel, there's the combat there, and it pretty much plays just like the combat in The Last of Us, where you're actually Ellie and all that stuff. Me and Sam found that the supplies felt very limited throughout the whole thing. You didn't really get that many weapons. You got the bow, the pistol, and Ellie's knife, of course, but you get the hunting rifle literally at the very end, which is kind of a letdown. But yeah, what did you think of the combat?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty much literally the very end. Didn't even get to use it. Well, Tyler didn't get to use it. I got it, and then I died, and then Tyler took over. But, yeah, like you said, Ellie gets the same weapons that she does in the game. For a while, I was thinking, well, I think a couple of us were thinking that it was the same mall that had happened in the before, and then the, I guess, maybe present of when Ellie is getting the medicine for Joel, but it's actually a different mall. It can't be the same mall, because Ellie before said she never left Boston. Well, she was never outside of Boston or whatever, and that's where they were at the time, so I don't think it wasn't in Boston when Joel fell or whatever. I was thinking that at the same time. It could have been. Yeah, they're both malls and everything. But I kind of felt like the entire story concerning Joel, the present part of the DLC, I felt like that wasn't, needed. It was just kind of there. I was focusing more on... I thought it would have all been centered around Ellie and her friend, and what happened there. I thought there would have been more to that. I definitely wasn't expecting any of it to be happening with Joel. I thought it was all like a prequel sort of thing. But it was fun. I mean, yeah, I have nothing bad to say about it. It basically goes along with the game, but I just didn't see that part coming. Almost, I thought it was. I thought it was all going to be a prequel, like I said, and I felt that they could have put more into the story between Ellie and Riley rather than Ellie finding medicine for Joel. But I mean, that does give people more combat because the combat it didn't exactly fit into the story with Ellie and Riley. We'll call that story A. And with story B, I guess they gave it to you for the combat and everything. Someone said earlier, I think it was Tyler, that maybe they just like left that part out of the game. Like it should have been in the game, but they were just like, you know what, let's cut this or something just for the heck of it, or you know, whatever. But I feel like they just kind of added it on. I could have done without it, but I don't have anything bad to say about it, if you know what I mean. I'm kind of neutral. I don't really have anything, too much to say about it. It was okay.
I think because, the part with Ellie and Riley wasn't very action-oriented. They wanted something very action-oriented. Because otherwise people would be like, it's fucking boring.
Yeah.
It's stupid, it's gay, retarded.
Yeah.
Whatever. But, yeah.
Yeah, what's his name now? I have a bit of a blank here. But I have nothing, I'm all neutral about it. The story with Ellie and Riley, I thought that's the part that I kept wanting to watch. It was like watching a movie and there's a story about two different people and you don't really care about the one person. You just care, like, whenever it comes back to a certain person. Like, I know how apparently everyone is with The Walking Dead. They don't really care about it unless Norman Reedus is being shown on screen. Or it's kind of the character that you really care about of the story. And that's the one I would say that I cared about. And I have the opinion that it kind of... that's what made present day Ellie, story B, not so interesting. Because it was being compared to story A, which was much more interesting, the development of the friendship, something that you didn't see before. Story B just kind of felt like, the connection with the game itself, more so. I think between Ellie and Riley, that was a very, very interesting part of the game, the DLC. It really, I don't know how else to say, it was just interesting. I kept wanting to watch it. That's The Last of Us, I guess, what it does best. Their whole friendship kind of becoming friends again. Apparently they weren't friends before and they became friends, and then the whole lesbian thing, and I didn't see that coming.
No.
Don't watch this if you don't want to know, but I didn't see that coming. It was kind of weird. Like, we were making jokes the whole time, immaturely, like, oh, lesbians, and they were, like, shooting at each other with water guns, and, like, oh, lesbians, and it actually happened. Not that there's anything wrong with that,
No. It was just funny.
Yeah. But it was an interesting part of the game. It actually added some type of romance, not romance, but another element to this game that's already full of everything. And it was kind of refreshing not to have Joel being a playable character in the game. So I was kind of pissed off at him when The Last of Us left off. And I didn't want anything to do with him. He was an asshole. But
Time out.
Joel. Yeah, that's about the most of it, I think. It was very interesting. Ellie and Riley's story was definitely more interesting than the other. And gameplay is the same, graphics are the same. It's just a very interesting story.
I do agree, pretty much. The story between Ellie and Riley was just... It was incredible. I thought the character development and the way their friendship, just is, and the way it kind of unfolded was just as well done as the actual storyline in the main game. It made you feel attached to it. It always made you want to know what's going to happen next, and it made. See, The Last of Us does a great job in making you really feel attached to the story and the characters. And when something happens, you just, or you know something's about to happen, you just feel these range of emotions. You feel the feels. And that's exactly what, this DLC really does great.
Speaking of things about to happen, that's the one thing that this DLC did, especially, like, every moment you thought, okay, something's going to happen, and then it doesn't. And then the next moment you think, okay, they're on the carousel, something's going to happen. It doesn't. They're running around the store with water guns. They're playing hide and seek, something's going to happen, and it doesn't. Well, yet, but that's the suspense was just, mind-blowing.
Yeah. It's just a couple of the scenes between Ellie and Riley was incredible. The whole water gun thing was just so cool. And then later when they start jamming to music and then, shit happens. But just that whole scene, they're dancing around or when they're fighting with each other, it just seemed like every moment was just so well done. The voice acting is just something that is just phenomenal. Who voices Ellen?
Ashley Johnson?
Yeah, she does a fantastic job as Ellie. Ellie has a potty mouth. Ellie's a hard ass, and Ellie is sarcastic. But I mean, she's awesome. The voice acting for Riley was done very good, very well, too. It's just overall, I just feel that this was arguably the best DLC I think I've ever played in my life. It added more story and content to a game that was already pretty much perfect in my eyes. So, I mean, it was great, I feel. Did you dig it?
Yeah, we did have this kind of a what do you call it? Prediction, sort of a guess that Riley was Marlene's daughter, which does seem likely. Because, I mean, they kind of sort of act the same, they look a bit the same.
Yeah.
And, there's that whole, it would sort of bring together the, it would sort of bridge the disconnect between Riley, being friends with Marlene, leader of the Fireflies. So,
yeah. And also, I just feel... I am one of the people that absolutely love the ending of The Last of Us. And I feel that the ending here was just well done. I mean, you knew how it was going to end because it was basically told how it ended in The Last of Us. But just, I feel it's the way that it happened and the way that they did it that made you just go, damn. Like, you're just left kind of speechless and you're watching the credits and listening to the music and there's just like, fuck, dude. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, one thing that this did was it filled in quite a few blanks that weren't exactly too important, like where Ellie got her joke book full of puns, or just the entire story of Ellie's backstory, or this and that. It just sort of filled in these blanks that no one really needed to know, but they were nonetheless very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was one very cool thing about it, just the little things in it that you're like, now, I remember that from The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt there were quite a few things in there, but,
And we also had the prediction that, you end up fighting human players again. Well, really quick, you for the first time, you fight human and infected at the same time. And it happens like twice, which was interesting. Sam played both of those segments, and it was pretty cool because he made them fight each other, which was really cool to see. The infected always won, but it was cool.
Yeah. Well, there was that one part in the hotel in Pittsburgh where you come out of the basement and you go into this like kitchen area before Joel climbs the ladder and gets knocked down. Ellie shoots the guy. There's this one infected in the kitchen, I think, and eventually the guys come in and shoot him. I'm not sure if there's anything that happens with that, but I feel like that could have been where they kind of got the idea. Maybe there's interaction, because that does seem like it could happen. So I'm not sure if it came from that or it was an idea that they wanted to try with The Last of Us, but just didn't really know where it fit all that well. It would fit.
And also getting back. Well, last thing I gotta say, at least, we had the prediction that the men that you fight here are the David's guys, because he, when you meet him in The Last of Us, he says, I sent out a group of men, they never came back and stuff.
It is looked it up, confirmed. It is his guys.
Oh, okay. Keith confirmed it.
Cannibals. The cannibals, right? Or
Yeah.
something.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Just learned. Breaking news.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're David's dudes, which is pretty cool because they are hunting Joel and Ellie.
Newsflash. You stupid.
Any last thoughts? Dirtus?
I think the entire relationship that evolves through this entire thing, of course, in story A, was it was very good. Like Tyler said, voice acting. I guess the script, the whole thingamajig. I can't say the acting, but the voice acting and the script and the animations that they all go through, that's pretty cool. Because if it was a movie, I'd say, oh yeah, the acting was very good. And, of course I'd laugh like that at the end, because I always do that. But yeah, I would say the video game acting, if that's what you can call it, was very well done.
Yeah. Naughty Dog always has the top-notch animations and
Bottom
all that
notch.
stuff. Haha. I would say, would you recommend this?
No.
No. Sam doesn't recommend
No.
this. I recommend this. If you want more of The Last of Us.
If you played The Last of Us first, don't start with this. You're just stupid then.
Yeah, you're
not-
just a dingus. So
You're performing on low levels.
yeah. So what would you give this out of 10? Quickly.
Comparatively to The Last of Us, well, I feel like Story B kind of brought it down just ever so slightly almost. It was kind of sea level, if you will. It didn't bring it down. It comparatively brought it down. Story A, because it was way up here. And the average of that, I would say about 9.5.
I would give it about a 9.25 as well. I agree with what Sam said. So this is our review of The Last of Us Left Behind. The DLC, it just came out. So definitely pick it up and play The Last of Us. Check out our review of The Last of Us. Play The Last of Us and all that shit.
The Last of Us.
See you guys later. Dingus. The first
Stalin.
of us plays.
Hehehehe